Hello, everybody. New Manchester here, back with another video. Um, I'm deciding to I'm deciding to read some more from Winston Wu's Happier Abroad website, and I found out about how Winston Wu is. He's more of a European than an American. So you can't talk to him about American things or act like an American around him because, well, I guess that turns him off. And plus, he's a romance snob, and he's a guy that likes romance, and I don't hate him for that. Um, I agree with like almost on everything that he says, but there's one thing I have a disagreement with him on. Um, when he brought up liberal media, I hear this all the time: liberal media this, liberal media that. And I just want to just talk about that before I talk about what this video is about. um Liberal media, it's just basically it's just basically a term, I guess. Actually actually, I'm gonna say this: there is no liberal media. There's a corporate media, because the news media outlets in this country, like CNN, Fox News, MSNBC, um, those are corporate media outlets, and they just give you, like, a lot of nonsense. They don't talk about like the real issues. Um, they have a political bias. Like, for instance, Fox News has a conservative bias, and MSNBC has a liberal bias, and CNN has like a neutral bias, I guess, with both parties, I guess. But they're all bad, and they don't talk about like what's really going on. I mean, they don't report the news the way they should report it, and hold elected officials accountable regardless of what party they're from. I mean, they don't do that. Yeah, yeah, they don't do that. And yeah, like for instance, like, they don't talk about global world news. They're not like the BBC and the CBC. I mean, they don't talk about what goes on in other countries. Like, if you're in this country, you will never hear what goes on in countries like Canada, Australia, the UK, or other countries in general. If you want to hear about those countries, and I'm gonna throw Brazil into this, like on like world news. You have to go online, like, watch the BBC or the CBC, and just balance that out with the American media that you're getting in your country. Yeah, that's basically what corporate media is. And yeah, I mean, yeah, yeah, I think I'm wrong on this. Yeah, yeah, but there is no liberal media. It's fake. It's a corporate media, and and it's not a really good media outlet. In the local news, like in your in the area that you live in the country, it's even worse too. Well, anyway, I want to get off of that, and I want to talk about what I found on Winston Wu's Happier Abroad site. One of the forums, and it's titled "Why America Has the Worst Mental Health." Yeah, it says why America has the worst mental health. And I'll just read this. In case you haven't heard, America has the highest rate of mental illness in the world, in the biggest mental health industry. So no, the whole world is not as insane as America is. For some reason, the conspiracy movement and the New Age movement often falsely associates America and the world as being the same, which is a huge fallacy. This fact is documented by the World Health Organization, which reported that those living in America have nearly a 50% chance of developing a mental disorder. In addition, America has the biggest mental health industry and the highest rate of antidepressant use. These facts speak volumes about how insane, dysfunctional, and toxic American culture really is. Most Americans would be shocked to know that in other countries it is virtually unheard of to have to see a therapist or mental health professional. Even in Britain, seeing a shrink is less common than in America. So it's very unnatural and abnormal to have to see a shrink unless you're in America, of course. In other countries, people have friends and family to talk to about their problems. They do not generally struggle with mental health issues or with other confidence and self-esteem like in America. Not surprisingly, a toxic, insane, inauthentic culture like America is going to have a high rate of mental illness. I, along with other researchers such as Michael Chersansian and Stefan Moncasole, would theorize that the main reason is this. In America, one has to develop an artificial fake self and personality and let me start all over again. I'm sorry about that. In America, one has to develop an artificial fake self and personality in order to socially conform. Otherwise, one will be abstract and become a social outcast. But in developing this fake persona self, one must suppress their true self and soul, which suffers in the process. This causes an intersplit and psychosis within one's psyche, leading to a state of internal fragmentation rather than wholeness. Thus, understandably, have to live a lie every day naturally results in psychological problems. In contrast, foreign cultures are more authentic and genuine, and thus allow one to be oneself. As a result, one develops a more wholesome personality. This is why people in other countries do not have to see shrinks or struggle with mental health and problems with confidence or self-esteem like Americans do. American culture is essentially a psychological bully in that it tears people down and makes them feel inadequate. Then it blames it on the victims by making them think that it's their fault because they lack self-esteem and self-confidence, as though there was some defect in them that makes them have to repair. This is comparable to a school bully who bullies others and then blames it on his victims rather than himself. It's all very cruel and sadistic, and yet another reason why it makes perfect sense to get out of such a toxic, crazy culture. Being overly competitive and shark like in nature, American culture and people have a way of tearing you down and making you feel insecure and inaccurate. Like you're never good enough and always have to prove yourself. No one feels accepted for who they are. To cope and compensate, Americans develop phony personalities and big egos, brag and BS a lot, act tough and arrogant, bullies others, or lose it and go crazy. Capitalizing on such insecurities and psychological problems, the biggest self-help industry was created in America, promising to help people work on issues such as lack of confidence and self-esteem, which people abroad do not deal with, which are constant struggles in the lives of Americans, All of this speaks volumes. However, when you see that people abroad in saner, healthier, more authentic cultures do not deal with such issues, you realize that such problems are not natural or normal at all. It must be the consequences of a highly toxic, insane, and authentic society. This is why American personalities seem so fake and artificial, and why nearly everyone born after the 1960s in America seems to have mental issues and psychological baggage, as though they are somehow messed up. It's all very dysfunctional for sure. Fortunately, most other cultures are not like that. You see, the reason why foreigners are so much more authentic and down to earth is because their country is authentic and down to earth as well. Thus, they did not have to develop fake personalities in order to fit in society. They were allowed to be themselves and thus develop a more wholesome personality. That's the reason why people outside America are not as afflicted with mental problems, nor do they struggle with confidence and self-esteem the way Americans do. What this means is that you can be yourself too in such foreign cultures, that is. That's the good news here. This is highly significant because being able to be yourself is the true definition of freedom, and hence why many expat report that they feel freer abroad than in America. After all, if you can't even be yourself, you can never truly be free. True to that. I wanna, seeing a shrink isn't healthy, and yet the culture and the people and the people, not all the people in America are to blame of, are to blame for like people like Elliot Rogers, George Sudini, and Dimitri, wherever his name is, the Santa Fe shooter. I mean, I think that's the reason why like they lost it and going on these shooting rampages and like shoot innocent people and shoot and kill themselves, which is sad. And then I'm not, well, Dimitri, like the guy Dimitri, I can't pronounce his last name, the Santa Fe shooter, like he didn't kill himself, like he was sentenced to he was I think he was sent to prison. Um, yeah. Um, you know, it is kind of sad, and stuff like Winston Wu is saying, like if you say that to just some mainstream like brain dead, clueless, like stubborn American, like they'll call you an idiot or they'll deem you as a nutcase, and and that's just sad. Like in if you act, I guess if you act fake and be arrogant and have this American bravado on you, I mean you're normal. But if you feel out of place and you don't want to have anything to do with anything in this country, I mean, or in a group that you're forced to be in, I guess, I don't know, you're nuts, and that's kind of like me in a nutshell. And I just want to say this: I'm seeing a shrink right now, and I am, and I'm not crazy. Like I mean, and I got to see him again. I got to see all these shrinks. I don't want to get into this. I mean, it's just crazy, really. And I guess that has something to do with when I hold a job. I let people get to me. They make me so angry, I lose it, and I walk out of a job. And I did this in the past, and just you know, I mean, I shouldn't have done that. I'm I'm not seeing a shrink because, well, because I want to. I'm seeing a shrink because of a family member. I got some family members in my family. I'm not gonna name any names. I'm not gonna tell you who they are. They're just. I mean, they're nuts themselves. And they. I mean, they. I mean, just. I mean, just one like. Just how I've seen a shrink. Tells me that they want to talk to me about something the next day. Then the next day comes around and find out I gotta see a shrink because I feel out of place and I'm doing weird things and I'm sending like crazy texts. Well, the texts I'm sending are true about like what one of those family members are and what they're doing to me, and I'm telling the truth. And I'm not crazy. And I guess I am crazy, but you know what? I'm not gonna grab a gun and go out and kill people. I'm not gonna do that. I mean, no way. I mean, but I discovered I'm happier abroad. You know what? I think going overseas will be good for me. And also, I heard that people tell me that other countries have problems, poverty and crime, and there's laws that you can't say this and say that, and somehow America's better because Americans talk faster because they're freer and all this. I'm not gonna comment on that because it just all countries are not perfect, but you know what? I'm just gonna say this, at least they don't have at least they're not at least their problems are not in the extreme as it is here in the US. Um yeah. So I just want to get this off my so I just want to just add to what I just read off the Happier Abroad forum, one of the Happier Abroad forums. And, and yeah, also I want to say some more things about Winston Wu. Um, yeah, and yeah, I found out the only way to talk to him is you got to be civil, and you just can't be crazy and shouting all the time. I mean, And if you do that, or you act like if you talk about American stuff, you'll turn him off and he won't say anything. Yeah, I guess a lot of people who subscribe to his channel is kind of like him. And I subscribe to his channel as well. Just want to say that. You know, you know, I just want to say this. The real me, I have a sense of humor. I mean, that's the real me. I mean, I'm not this serious, angry guy. Like I have a sense of humor. Like I do funny things and say funny things, but America became the way it is. I mean, that just sucked all that out of me. Yeah, I guess I can find the real me. I guess the real me can come back. Can come back if I go overseas. Yeah, yeah. I just want to say this. Hey, I'm just gonna say this message to Winston Wu. I mean, anybody who has access to him, like you can just tweet this video to him if you want. But I just want to say this to him. Um, I mean, you tell the truth. I mean, you're honest, down to earth, civil guy. Um, on that video I saw on your channel when you were complaining about what YouTube was doing, they were taking down your channels, and you were swearing, you were angry, you just lost it. I mean, you don't need to go that route, okay? Just be calm and just don't let that get to you. And I think that's the best. I think that's the best advice I can give to you, since you give such good advice to people who are just fed up with how the U.S. is. Well, Winston, um, keep doing what you're doing, and yeah, and you said that you don't care about what other people think. And you said this: if you don't care about what other people think, you're freer. And I like that a lot, and that's some good advice. Oh well, I'm gonna get out of here and end this video. Um, if you like this video, if you dislike it, if you want to dislike this video, dislike this video. If you like this video, like the video. If you want to subscribe, go right ahead and subscribe. And yes, this is New Manchester saying thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.